so much for tuning in. Today, I want you guys to get into this chit chat that I had with Akosua Cassaberry. So many gems was dropped, and I'm not even going to talk anymore. I'm going to just get straight into it. Okay. Hey kings, queens, and in-betweens, this is Tmrrw with today's Tmrrw, and I am here with the beautiful Akosua, but I'm gonna let her introduce herself. So, the floor is yours.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Akosua Cassaberry. I am the founder or the founding CEO of Akosua LLC, which is a publishing firm based in New York City. And I am what I like to call an authorpreneur. So I write my own books, but I also help other entrepreneurs, solo artists, all of that right there, write and publish their own books as well, while keeping 100% creative control over their books. So yeah, what else? I'm a mom to my daughter Madison. She's gonna be turning 3 in December. And I'm working on my third book, which is titled Why Every Pregnant Woman Should Write a Book. And I'm sure we're gonna get into that at some point. But yeah, that's I'll leave it at that.
Well, I wanna first say thank you for synchronizing and like making this happen.
Yes.
You know, the behind the scenes of what all went into even making this possible. So I want to thank you first and foremost.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And I wanted to kind of set a intention for today's sit down, because all in all, what I wanted people to take away from our conversation is just hearing your day-to-day, balancing out like being a mom, entrepreneur, and a wife. So I guess we could get into that. I guess that is a question.
Okay, yeah, that we could definitely get into that. So it's so funny because I'm 2 years into my business and I'm still a work in progress every single day, and I still have to constantly adjust. So the one thing that I'm working on is how to be the most effective with my time and being efficient with my time. And it's a work in progress literally every single day. When Madison was first born, every day was different, and I just had to accept that for what it was. Even though, she needed the same things every day, like you just don't know how it's gonna go. And then when I started a business, it was literally the same thing. I'm like, every single day is different. And me and Trevor, we have to find a time for each other. It's good that we actually work together. It's so funny, like even though we're in quarantine, we still, both of us work like full time, and we're both entrepreneurs. We work all the time. So we're constantly trying to figure out what works, bringing our schedules together. So the conversation is endless. Like it doesn't stop. And I wish it did, but it doesn't. And so we work at that every single day, and I'm getting better every single day. You got to take the L's, you got to take your losses along with the wins. It's a part of the process. So yeah, I would say balancing motherhood, being a wife, being an entrepreneur, a business owner, it's all a work in progress. And I just know every single day, what are my priorities? What do I have to do for today? When, me and Trevor set a day or a couple of hours to talk, to, manifest together, as well as what we have going on separately. So yeah, like 2 years isn't a lot. And everyone keeps talking about 5 years at the sweet spot. And I'm just crossing my fingers that it's the sweet spot, because right now, like we in the trenches, like hustling. That's all I can really say.
In the midst of it is like, do you really see a light at the end of this tunnel?
Right,
but
that's how
know
it's
that it's there. You gotta know that it's there. Like, okay, sweet spot. That's what they say. Okay,
that's what everyone is saying. 5 years, and I'm like, that's 3 years away. So clearly, I gotta just take this for what it is.
Mm-hmm. So that means at this point, you're still trying to find that balance.
Yes. Yes. So the biggest thing, the most important thing is putting myself first and taking care of myself.
Right.
That trumps, feeling overwhelmed or feeling like I'm not doing this. Am I taking care of Akosua today? Am I ready to take care of Akosua tomorrow? Because the time and attention that I put into everybody else, I have to put that into myself just so that I can show up as the best version of myself for everybody else. And that has been the biggest takeaway once I became a wife, a mother, and an entrepreneur, is Akosua got to worry about Akosua always at all times.
For real.
And that is definitely the biggest advice. Put yourself first. Make sure you're taking care of yourself first.
Because you can't pour out of an empty cup, sis.
Exactly.
Other people like
you get buried.
You cannot pour out of an empty cup. Since we're talking about it, I wanted to kind of hear your thoughts about what self-care looks like to you. And then I want to transition into everything that's in the works and everything that's said to be released in the near future.
Yes, that's a great question. So for me, my self-care is, I'm simple. I like to keep it simple. So I got to make sure I got time to do my hair. Like, we got Afro hair, that takes work. So I need to be in a space where I'm excited and I'm ready to do my hair, even when I don't want to, and I'll complain about it. But I know I have my situation set up, and I'm a bitch and moan, but I'm about to plait my hair. Because I want to feel, clean. You got to take care of your hair, take care of my body. I love to just take my time and oil my body down. Like, to me, that's just an intimate moment for me to feel my body, to be in tune. Something simple, but like, when you see yourself and your skin is glowing, like, you put in the effort for that.
Right.
So for me, that's my self-care. Reading every single day and writing every single day is also a part of my self-care. And it doesn't have to be anything, extremely difficult or like, over the top. Just write how you feeling for the day. How was your day? If you felt like you could have did something better. Just me interacting with myself, reflecting on the day. I have a journal that I keep, and I just write in that. Write. When in doubt, write it down. That's what I tell myself all the time. When in doubt, write it down. So those are the main things. Oh, and drinking water. That's my self-care. Drinking water. I mean, I had to really discipline myself with that, because like, as simple, just like, oh, drinking water, but no, like, it's important. And now that I'm in my journey as an entrepreneur, I didn't realize how important it actually is just to function and have a clear mind, a clear brain, a clear body. All of that is connected, because when I'm out of sync, it affects everything else around me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and doing my makeup. I love doing my makeup. That's my self-care. And dressing up from time to time. But I can definitely just chill at home, read, write. I did my hair. I took time to oil my body up. That's my self-care. That's what I like to do. And I want to make sure that I'm doing that every single day. Like, I don't even like to skip a step no more, right? Because then I feel like I'm just cheating myself. So,
and you got
those are the things I look right.
And then everybody else will get taken. Actually, you take better care of the other people when you're taking care of yourself.
100%. And for my moms out there, the mommy guilt is really real. And I don't know. I'm not going to say my mommy guilt is not there. But like, if somebody wanted to take Maddie, go ahead. I'm chilling. I'll see you later, girl. But I know mommy guilt is really real. But for me, it's like, you want to make sure that you're your best self. So there should be nothing, you shouldn't feel guilty about ever, just wanting space for yourself. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Oh, see, and this is all things that I have no idea about. That's why I'm so glad that you're here to speak to this specific audience, because you've gone through it, you've grown through it, you've been through it.
Yes.
So
yes,
it's entrepreneur.
Yes.
Let's hear about all the things. So I want to hear about all the things that you already have out, and then what's to come.
Right. So right now, I have 2 books out. My first book was a collection of poems titled Back to Me, and that actually started as my senior thesis project, and then I worked on it after college. Then I wrote a motivational quote book, Ms Akosua motivational quote book, which is, a category under my publishing firm for a type of book that entrepreneurs can write to boost business. And that consists of 50 quotes, 50 passages explaining each quote, and then blank pages throughout, which has been, it has done way more than I even imagined. And that's really, really good to see.
And I interact, and that's awesome.
Yes, and just seeing what people are doing with it is really, really amazing. Trevor's actually working on his second motivational quote book. But the book I'm working on right now is a memoir titled Why Every Pregnant Woman Should Write a Book. And that one is going to be my biggest book that I've written to date, which details my experience before I was a mother, my pregnancy experience, like what that was like, my experience for 9 months carrying Madison, my labor and delivery experience, and the stories of 5 other women who are sharing their pregnancy experiences as well. And I mean, the stories from those women is really crazy. And I'm glad that it's in the book for people to be able to see the different stories and not just my own. So yes, that will be releasing at the end of the year to bring in the new year. And yeah, outside of that, I'm working on manuscripts for my other clients. I do poetry is my favorite genre. So I have my clients who come to me for poetry, the Ms Akosua motivational quote books. And then I have people who are doing fiction, urban novels. So yeah, these authors are keeping me busy. These writers are keeping me busy because everybody is writing a book, which I love to see. Like, specifically people that I know. Like, it's different when, you see a publishing company and it's an author, but you don't know who this is. Like, I literally know these people and have access to these people, and it feels really, really good.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about your publishing business and your publishing services. So how does one go about acquiring your services, your many different services? Because I know you
Yes. So right now we're offering free self-publishing consultations, 30-minute consultations to go over the 11 steps to self-publish. And the platform that I recommend my clients use is KDP, which is Amazon's platform. And you can book a consultation with us at imakosua.com. That's IMAKOSUA.com, imakosua.com. You can book yourself a free self-publishing consultation. Then I also have clients who already have their manuscript complete. And that basically is just, emailing me or hitting me up on social media. I get a lot of DMs, which is totally fine. Nowadays, that's considered professional, so I don't mind that. And basically, you can email me at akosua@castleberry.com, and you can, tell me I have a manuscript. I'll book a consultation with you, give you the price quote for how much the manuscript editing services will be. And then we will discuss any additional things, like if you have a product, when's your release date, your pre-order strategy, things like that.
Oh, so you're doing consultant, like overall consulting?
Yes, overall consulting.
Not just. Hold on.
So we have the consulting side is where I see myself, retiring in, because the editing is the manpower. Takes a lot of work.
Tell me about it.
Takes a lot of work. So it's good that I'm doing both, because the consulting requires just a different kind of skill set than editing. But now I have a team of editors, thankfully. So I'm not doing this by myself. And when my clients come to me, they know that they have a team of editors that's reviewing their work to make sure that is how they want it to be.
Oh my goodness. So what's the most fun part of working day to day? Like your day to day? What's the most fun part that makes you the most excited?
Wow, that's a tough one. Wow. I would say reading a new manuscript. I love that. Like, I love to see what I'm about to get. Yeah, that's my favorite part. Whenever there's a fresh new manuscript from a new client, the initial reading it is I love that. Yeah, I'll say that's that's probably the main one for sure.
Okay. So my next question is, what would you say is your why? So I know we all have ups and downs, we already like discussed a little bit about, but what can you tell us of a time that you wanted to like stop or quit and it's like, nah, I gotta get back to it?
Oh man, yes. So my why is I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur and I've always wanted to write books. But my new why is I want to help other people become authors. And there was a point when I was like maybe 3 months to 6 months old with Ms Akosua, and I was trying to get off my books. I was trying to get off products I was selling at the time, and nothing, like crickets. Like I just was not selling. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And I would constantly change my approach, my strategy. None of it worked. So then I'm like, all right, you're moping about people not buying your product, and you know that you still want to write more books. So that is what keeps me that's what keeps me going, because I have to move on. Like, you can't sit and mope about it. You just can't, because you're wasting time. Mm-hmm. So once I'm able to focus on something new, then I even forget that people aren't even buying my project. Then as long as you're being consistent and disciplined, then you need to know, I know I'm going to reap the benefits of that. It's just not showing up right now. So I can focus my attention on Dear Nice Girl, for example, or focus my attention on why every pregnant woman should write a book. And I know I'm still using my muscles and I'm still getting better, even if nobody ain't buying nothing from me.
Right now. Because once you get over that, and then you start catching traction, like, they're going to look. People all look at the history like, oh, so this, okay.
It adds up and it adds up and it adds up and it adds up, and that's what you're working for. But in the back of my mind too, I'm like, listen, you gotta grind for Maddie. Like, you got fired. Mm-hmm. You got fired. I'm not going back into the corporate world. Like, it's a dub. So either I'm a complain or start applying to some jobs, but that's not my option. So I'm like, all right, I still love what I'm doing and I know it serves a purpose. I'm temporarily in my feelings. I'll get over it. You got to move on. And that's goes back to, all right, when in doubt, write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down. That's what keeps me going.
So how do you overcome, so the execution is what I'm about to ask a question about. So with me, I'm writing all the time, writing all these ideas. I got a room full of, and plans to action, and it's all popping ass ideas. It's like I tell myself, but how do you cross that barrier between dreaming and then turning it into like actionable steps?
Help. That's how. Help. So I have my business consultant. If I have an idea, your ideas are great, right? But now you have to plan out the execution. So it's like I had to respect the planning stage. I had to respect the thinking out stage. Like, we think that like the idea is great, yes, but how do you actually get there? It takes steps. And you gotta respect that process. So I would say help. I'm not here to do this by myself. I had this idea and I know I need help, because my expertise is in certain areas and I need other people to help with their expertise to make that dream come to light, right? So my book covers, I have an idea, my graphic designer makes it better. My business plan, I have an idea, my business consultant makes it better. Like, if I need help with babysitting, if I need help with Madison, I need more time in my day, those are my people who are going to help me so I can clear out the time to execute my plan. So I would say those moments matter just as much as when you publish your book and now people can buy it. Like, that's the biggest thing that I've learned, because you got to respect that process too.
So you're speaking on not even just a business aspect, just overall life aspect.
Able
to delegate certain things to certain people, but how do you find the people that are
I didn't even understand what it means to delegate. That was something I had to learn once I became an entrepreneur, because you hear that all the time and you're like, but they're not gonna do it, like, you know,
right? And that's the hardest part. Like, but I can do it better than that. But
yes, but you have to realize. The best way I can describe it is this is from Cito Blanco. He says you have to have the right team on the court. So it's like, all right, when you think back to who you wanted to delegate to, were they the right person, and did you feel confident? If the answer is no, then you already know this is not the person that you need. But if I can think of, I know my graphic designer got me. I'll tell her my idea and I know she's going to make it better. I know my business consultant, you know, he's going to tell me, all right, you got to adjust this. Like, you got to have the right team on the court. That matters. And so when you delegate, you know that person is going to do it, as opposed to, I don't really know if they're going to do it. I think I should just do it myself. Then they don't need to be on your team.
Okay, so what you're saying is that if that's even a question, then you probably got the wrong person.
And that's what I realized. Because I'm like, y'all keep saying delegate. I used to hear that word all the time, and it didn't make sense to me, because I felt like, this is my team right here, but I don't feel confident in their ability to do what I need them to do. Today, please. I know my team is strong, okay? I know my team is strong, and I know they're going to help me do what I need to do. That matters.
So what went into finding this team? Did it come over time, or were you like,
oh yeah,
people cross your path, your path, and then it's like, oh, this person got to stay in the pocket. I got to
all of that. Yes, absolutely. It's almost like, you know, trusting your space and where you are for your energy to kind of, you know, give that back to you. So I've had to come across, well, luckily for me, my graphic designer, I went to college with her, and I just knew I wanted her to work on my books. For one of my editors on my team, she's one of the best writers that I know. And I knew I wanted her to be on my team. For, you know, my clients who help me publish other people's books, I know their work. I can see what they can do, and I know I want them on my team. And once we work together, I see what we both can do, and I know I made the right choice. So, yeah. And word of mouth as well. Word of mouth goes a long, long way.
Do you have a story time?
Ooh, story time.
About word of mouth. Like, do you have an instance where word of mouth helped you out?
Yes, absolutely. So my first 2 poetry clients were referenced by word of mouth. And the manuscript that I'm working on right now, it's a historical fantasy fiction. That was also word of mouth. So when I decided, okay, I'm not going to just publish my own books, I want to help other people, I was pushing out content, you know, just telling people the type of books they can write to boost business. So basically, you know, Tmrrw calls it taking up mental real estate, right? Because that's what word of mouth is having mental real estate in other people's head. So the more and more that I was talking about writing and helping people publish, people think about, because the funniest thing is it all happens from, I'm looking for an editor. Anybody got any references? That's how I got my first client, Cito. And then one of my friends from college said, hey, I know this person, and she referenced me, and boom, I got my first client, word of mouth. And then she referenced me again to another one of her coworkers. Hey, I know this person, she just did this book, that they know each other. Like it just kind of worked out for me. And now, boom, I have a second client. And then the client that I have now, who's doing historical fantasy fiction, he was referenced his sister-in-law, and I went to college with her. But I have mental real estate in her head. She knows I can help him with this book. So
So
yeah, those are the
crazy
stories.
like when you're scrolling down your timelines and you get that infamous Facebook post like,
yes,
oh, for XYZ, anybody know somebody. That's why it's so important to have that mental real estate in other people's heads. So it's like, because somebody asks you, oh, what's your favorite toothpaste? You don't even have to use Colgate to say Colgate.
Yes.
But you're gonna
say exactly.
So that's super important. And that's definitely a takeaway for everybody who's listening right now. Like, have that mental real estate. Come set yourself in with that mental real estate, so that once somebody asks, hey, do you have someone, can you reference someone for this? You'll be that person. Exactly. You are now that person that somebody's gonna think about when they think, oh, you need, publishing services? Oh, I know Akosua.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's awesome. Before I wrap it up, I'm trying to think if I have another question that's not gonna take up too much time, because a lot of my questions are like open-ended.
Yes.
And you know how we get down, we chatting. So, okay. Simply put, do you have any pictures? I want you to like, do you have any books on hand in front of you right now?
Yes, I do.
Everyone.
All right. I would love that. All right. So I'll start from smallest to largest. All right. So this is Nalumbo. This is one of my clients. Hopefully you guys can see that. Mm-hmm. But yes, this is a collection of poems, and she does yoga. She teaches, just a really, really cool, dope individual. And this book is really, really amazing. And then this is my book, Back to Kukuntumi, my very, very first book that started off as my senior thesis project. And this is a book that I consulted on, Stirred by Life. This is one of my Niger writers, one of my favorite Niger writers. And yes, that's the book I consulted on. And then the Ms Akosua motivational quote books, my favorite books on the market right now. This is For the Hustler, which is my husband's book, and he's working on volume 2 right now. And it's a motivational quote book for entrepreneurs who are interested in becoming better at business and investing. And then this is my version of the Ms Akosua motivational quote book. I wish you guys could see it better, but this is a collection of letters, 50 letters. I write letters because of Lucille Clifton, one of my favorite poets. And basically it's to help entrepreneurs become better critical thinkers, and just, analyzing and focusing on the relationships that affect them daily, all of the different relationships that affect them daily. And this is my very first client, Cito Blanco. He is a very, very special client in that way. And this is a collection of poems. Great, great, great book. He's from the Bronx, New York. And once you open the book, the energy is there. This is also one of my favorite collection of poems. I actually read this book while I was reading Medical Apartheid. Medical Apartheid is a really intense read, really, really difficult history to take in. And this helped me get through it. And then I have Deception, Lies, and Betrayal. This is an urban novel. Girl, this is her classic right here. Oh. Okay, this is her classic right here. Yes, this is my first urban novel, and it was really, really, really fun to edit for the first time. But yes, this is by Audrey Powell. She's a really young author, amazing writer, and she's actually going to be turning this into a series. So this is just the first book for her as well. So yeah, those are the physical copies. Some of my clients just do ebooks, so I don't have all the physical copies, but I'm glad that I'm able to have these.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for sharing all this stuff.
My pleasure.
And maybe during the summertime, when like the warmer months, we can actually have a sit down, because from our previous experience, that energy was so like, I loved it.
It was.
I'm so sad that I was unable to get that released. I lost that footage, but it's okay. What can we do? We got to move forward.
Exactly. Right.
So,
right.
Okay. Do you have any last words or any takeaways that you will want, other than what you've already discussed, that you want someone to walk away from this sit down with?
I would say utilize the power of writing. That's something that is a mission for Ms Akosua. People don't utilize writing in the way that can manifest what they want. But I think that poetry, writing is a healing tool, and I want to be able to, reveal that for people because they can heal themselves with their own writing. That's my takeaway. And orders are available for Why Every Pregnant Woman Should Write a Book at amakosua.com/women. And hubby's book is also releasing, and you can get that at hustlerbooks.com. The books is plural, hustlerbooks.com.
Okay, I'm gonna have all the links and everything that's been discussed today, wherever you're watching this. And I want to thank you again, Akosua, for sitting down with me. You just added such value to having this conversation. Is
Yay!
So I know that everybody else is gonna get something out of this.
Yes, that's good.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye.
Ooh. So much gems, so many gems, so much soul, so much knowledge dropped. Thank you for watching. Thank you for making it this far. If you liked what you saw and you want to hear more, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.